Thanks for clapping. Two members of the ladies group. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster. Table topics. Accountability. I think you did a great job of picking the theme today and, of course, introducing it as well. I really don't have too much to get into accountability. I think we all know what it means to be held accountable, excellent use of one of the 7 TGG principles, like that. The state of being accountable, liable, or answerable. What was the last item or goal you held someone accountable to? Christy.
Since I didn't have a functionary role today, I had the absolute expectation of being called for table topics. Accountability is someone I held accountable for something. I don't have any employees, so I can't remember the last time I really held anybody accountable for something other than my girlfriend, who messes up pretty much everything, breaks everything, especially in the kitchen. But the more funnier story about accountability is when I was in the military. It's my favorite military experience. I was the division commander's secretary, essentially, and my duty was to be at the front desk every day, all the time, and I couldn't leave. And we had the little guy that was our drill sergeant. He came up on Friday when everybody was cleaning, and I was not supposed to leave my post, and he said, "You need to go down and clean weapons with everybody else." I told him, "Well, that's probably not a good idea." He said, "No, you have to go, it's an order." I'm like, "Okay." So I get down there, everybody's sitting there, I sit down, I put my gun on and start cleaning it. All of a sudden the door flies open and the general comes in, my boss. He's yelling my name, "Dika!" Like, right here, "What are you doing there?" And I'm like, "Well, the guy told me I have to come down and clean." He called that guy's name, and in front of like 100 people, he chewed him out. I was in heaven. So.
When I think of accountability, I immediately start thinking about New Year's resolutions, right? It's April, we're 4 months into the year, 5 months, it's May, yikes.
What? 4 months down.
4 months down, that's right. It's April, what was one of your New Year's resolutions and how are you performing to it? Aaron Campos.
How am I performing to my New Year's resolution? Well, I have New Year's resolution to complete the San Diego Half Marathon Triple Crown. And I have completed 2 of the 3. Now there's an expectation when you run marathons that your lower body gains all these muscles and your upper body gets all weak and everything. You look lopsided. That's starting to happen. So I am going to start amending my New Year's resolution to do a little bit more in this area so that I don't look lopsided. Because it's great to be running down Prospect Street, La Jolla Marathon, and you feel great. You have this image of what you look like in your mind, and then you look at the pictures that are from Marathon Photo, and you're reviewing, do I want to pay for these pictures, do I not want to pay for these pictures? And you notice that your calves are gigantic compared to your arms. So that is how I'm delivering on my New Year's resolution.
I got one for Jeff. I said I wasn't going to do it, but then I looked at the questions I created, and I looked around the room, and I can't think of a better person to answer this next question. And he knows it's coming.
Yeah.
Donald Sterling, you want to talk about the ultimate in accountability this week. Should we hold him accountable for a private conversation? Jeff Klubeck.
I have said before that expectation is the quickest road to disappointment. That's if the expectation lives inside of you and you only. Shared expectation, when you share your expectations internally, that's the quickest road to success. Of course, it's marked by accountability. Should we hold Donald Sterling accountable for his remarks? I don't know if that's the right question. I think the free market will decide. Clearly, the NBA's sponsors have made a statement, put pressure on the NBA to take action. I was observing an online debate about, well, if we're going to get Donald Sterling out of the NBA, what about anybody else who's offensive to any other group? And are we tying racism to gender discrimination and all kinds of other issues that people can be held accountable for that may fall outside of the norms of what is acceptable in society? Should we? I don't know, Craigie, do you have a mouse in your pocket? If that's what you meant by we, then absolutely. But should we hold Donald Sterling accountable? I think the man has made his own bed. I think the NBA sponsors will decide and set free market terms and expectations for what's acceptable in today's corporate environment. And it's just happy to talk about accountability and expectations with each and every one of you. Thank you.
I had to bring it up. Excellent. Thank you.
I'm not going again, so.
No, you're not. I'm going to use this to be a little bit self-serving. You brought up something very interesting at the very beginning of this, which was that there are 3 different parts to being held accountable.
At least 3. I only chose
At least 3.
There were so many
You
points.
chose 3.
Chose 3.
The last one was love. And I have the pleasure of sharing this room with the person that I love. It's just awesome.
You know,
What?
Apex here too.
What do you need from me in order to be better held accountable? EPEC is here. You're welcome.
Expectation. Just gotta throw that out there. Accountability, it's a good topic for today. And I would like to answer Craig's question, however, I'm going to go a little different route on this. And tell you guys about all the wonderful things that are on my plate that I am held accountable for. And I probably set high expectations for myself. Kind of a perfectionist when it comes to getting things done. As you know, I recently switched careers. I'm now in medical sales. It's definitely a different ballgame. I've been doing marketing for the past 10 years, and it's been very interesting and a great learning experience, but definitely challenging at the same time. In addition, we're getting married in 2 months, and of course we don't like to do anything just once, so we're doing 3 times. So we are in the process of planning 3 weddings, and Craig is in the process of helping me out on planning. And lastly, I'm starting next Tuesday the last class of my 2nd certificate program at USD, which has been amazing and a great learning experience. However, I'm a little burnt out and very excited to finish that class at the end of May. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much.
Tried, right? A little bit of insight.
Lots of vulnerability.
Tell us of a time when you broke something and put the accountability on someone else. Janine Smith. I need to hear this. I just need to know. When was the time when you broke something and then basically were like, oh my God, what'd you do? If you've ever done it.
Alright, so there was this one time when I was probably about 10 years old, and my brother, he's 1.5 years younger than me, so he's 8.5, and my mom left us home with her babysitter. She lived next door, and so she would come over anytime my parents were gone for the evening. And while she was there, we were playing a game of hide and seek. We actually like to play sardines, so we turn out all the lights, close all the blinds so it's completely dark, and we all go find a hiding spot, hide in the corner, and then one person, everybody else is looking, and everybody starts joining that person until there's one person left in the room. And while we were doing this, I knocked over the vase on the dining room table, and I crawled underneath. And of course then everybody knew where I was, because there was this huge crash, and there were pieces of glass everywhere, and it kind of ruined the game, and I said my brother did it. That's all I have to say.
None of that
Put down for your time, just put down whatever you feel is appropriate.
I did.
With that,
You can see the beginning of the emotional level.
right? With that, everybody can sit back and relax, except for our speakers and evaluators and our Toastmasters. I'd like to relinquish control back to Jeff, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, excellent. Would you all please just take 1 minute to on your voting slips? Yeah, good job. Thank you. Give them the thanks. On your slips.